Gaza Civil Defense Agency has said that Israeli airstrikes today have killed at least 29 Palestinians, including 6 children near a water distribution point. Civil Defense spokesman Mahmoud Basal said that Gaza City was hit by several strikes overnight and in the early morning, killing 8, including women and children. Several others were also wounded. An Israeli airstrike hit a family home near the Nuseirat refugee camp, resulting in the death of 10 people in central Gaza. 8 were killed in the south, 3 were killed in the coastal Al-Mawasi area. The IDF has not yet commented on these strikes. Meanwhile, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, says its clinic in Gaza has witnessed a sharp rise in malnutrition cases since March, when Israel imposed a total siege on the territory. In a statement posted online, the agency said it has not been allowed to bring any humanitarian aid since the siege began, severely restricting access to food, medicine, and other critical supplies. Now we're joined by Rohan Gunaratna. He's an international affairs expert joining us live from Singapore. Thank you, Rohan, for joining us today. Good to see you. Now, how serious is this escalating situation that is ongoing in Gaza around the 8 sites?
Asuma, what we have seen is that there are 2 separate incidents. One, as you mentioned, is Palestinians being fatally shot on their way to aid distribution centers in a Gaza Strip. This has killed 31. And also the Israeli operations, the counterterrorism operations against Hamas holding their hostages have killed 28 Palestinian civilians. What is important to understand is that there should be restraint on the part of those people who are armed, ensuring that the Palestinians can access food, but in an orderly manner, where it does not cripple the objective of providing that assistance. So I think there should be a proper system to ensure that Gazans can gain access to the food, because we have all seen photographs and videos of chaos when it comes to approaching those food. No one wants to shoot anyone who wants food. And I think there should be a proper system built. This is number one. Second is there should be a greater understanding that the Israeli Defense Force should secure the release of their hostages, because it is the right of Israel to do so. But again, they should minimize civilian fatalities and injuries. So in this case, there must be significant pressure on the part of all the Muslim governments, all the Arab governments, to so that Hamas will release the hostages. There are 53 hostages unaccounted for. We believe that about 20 are still alive, and it is so important for Hamas to surrender, disarm, and to release those hostages. As long as those hostages are being held, IDF will continue their operations, because it is the right of IDF to ensure that their nationals and also foreign nationals who are abducted by Hamas are released.
And what obligations does Israel have under international law to protect those civilians during its ongoing military operations?
Every country should protect their civilians when they do operations. And if they don't do that, then that is a war crime. But what is important to understand is that Hamas has built a city under Gaza, beneath Gaza, the surface city of Gaza, and they are holding the hostages. And also Hamas is using hospitals, churches, mosques, and other places of worship, as well as schools, to hide and fight. That is why there has been 57,000 civilians being killed in the Gaza war. But the blame for this This devastating war is a direct result of the Hamas attack on October 7th, 2023, where 251 people were taken, innocent people were taken as hostages. So we cannot only blame Israel for the civilian deaths. We have to blame Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and also the sponsors of these terrorist groups, notably Iran. As long as governments are going to sponsor terrorism, other governments who have suffered will mount counterterrorism operations, and that will inevitably result in civilian deaths and injuries.
And Rohan, do you see any realistic pathways to easing the siege and preventing further civilian deaths in the short term? Or has diplomacy reached a dead end?
You have asked the most important question, Asuma. The President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu just met in Washington, D.C., and their main focus was restoring a ceasefire in Gaza. But to restore that ceasefire, Egypt, Qatar will have to work with Hamas and persuade Hamas to adhere to what the world wants, that is to release the hostages, surrender, and disarm. Israel will never stop their operations as long as Hamas exists in Gaza. Gaza has no strategic depth. Israel's future strategy is to control the security and stability of Gaza, because otherwise there will be a threat to the security and stability of Israel. Israel does not want another October 7th attack, and I think the world understands that.
Thank you very much, Rohan Gunaratnam, for joining us and sharing your insight as an international affairs expert. Now we move on to our next news.